technology and dominance. Yet among all the stars, one species was universally dismissed: humans. Earth? That backwater rock, laughed Ambassador Kaelwythar of the Tyrell Collective, his 8 eyes glinting. Barely space-worthy, barely sentient. How quaint. In the Galactic Assembly, humans sat at the last table. The other delegates had polished limbs, shimmering cloaks, or skin that changed color with mood and intellect. Humans had nothing but stubborn posture, worn suits, and determination that seemed almost comical. Admiral Helena Ross leaned back in her chair, scanning the alien faces. Her jaw was set, her voice calm but firm. Underestimating humanity has been your greatest mistake. We are not what you expect. Kaelwythar hissed a laugh, its mandibles clacking. Words. Mere noise. We deal in numbers, fleets, and weapons far beyond your imagination. Humans do not belong at this table. The room tensed. Helena's eyes flicked to the holographic map projected in the center. Stars, fleets, and contested zones glimmered. Humanity had barely touched the galactic stage, yet now they were called to arbitrate disputes among systems that had been at war for centuries. The first test came not in debate but in survival. A Vorkan scouting fleet approached the Sol system. Its ships were colossal, bristling with weapons that could melt entire continents. The humans had a few modest warships, old, mismatched, and far smaller, but they had something no alien species could replicate: ingenuity under pressure. Admiral Ross gathered her commanders in the bridge of the flagship USS Dauntless. They assume we are weak. We'll use that. Prepare the decoy maneuvers. Activate the gravity well projectors. If they expect a head-on fight, they will find something else. Lieutenant Chin raised an eyebrow. Something else, sir? Exactly, Ross said, gripping the rail. We don't have the largest fleet, but we have the sharpest minds. They don't calculate human creativity. That is our edge. In orbit above Earth, the Vorkan fleet's shadow fell like a storm. Alien vessels shimmered with shields, weapons bristling like stars gone mad. Humanity's ships darted through the darkness, smaller, faster, unpredictable. The first strike was psychological. The Vorkans aimed for the cities, expecting mass panic. Instead, emergency AI-controlled defense grids lit up. Evacuation shuttles and orbital satellites maneuvered with uncanny precision, guided by humans who could adapt faster than any alien algorithm. When the Vorkans fired, they found themselves trapped in improvised energy nets, grids formed by bending solar flares, something no alien had anticipated. Ships collided, shields overloaded, entire wings were destroyed by human ingenuity. In the middle of battle, Helena's voice echoed through the fleet. Adapt. Improvise. I'll think. Humanity survives by turning weakness into strength. Back in the assembly, alien delegates watched live feeds of the skirmish. Murmurs turned into shouts. Karath Ambassador Lethmin's 6 arms trembled. Impossible. They are not supposed to think this way. They are not supposed to win. On the Dauntless, Lieutenant Chin smiled grimly. Sir, they're regrouping. More coming. Ross narrowed her eyes. Good. Let them think they are safe. That gives us time to strike, strategically. In a sudden twist, human drones, disguised as debris, infiltrated the Vorkan command ship. Moments later, the alien flagship went dark, its fleet disoriented. The Vorkans had underestimated humans' ability to blend strategy, cunning, and sheer audacity. When the battle ended, the galaxy noticed. Earth had survived what no one thought possible. Headlines flashed in every solar system. Humans, the unexpected survivors. The assembly reconvened. Silence hung heavy. Helena Ross rose, voice firm, carrying the weight of Earth's reputation. We came as diplomats, we defended our home as warriors, and we will continue to grow. Underestimating humanity is no longer an option. The galaxy must recognize that intelligence is not measured only in technology or size, but in adaptability, creativity, and resolve. The room erupted, not in applause but in shocked whispers. For the first time, the other species saw humans differently. Not as weaklings, not as quaint relics, but as something extraordinary, dangerous, and unbound by conventional rules. But even as the humans celebrated, Ross knew the war had only begun. The galaxy would test them in ways no one could yet imagine. Other empires would send spies, saboteurs, and armies. The true battle for humanity's place among the stars was just beginning. And so, the humans of Earth, once ranked last in the galactic hierarchy, had drawn the first line in a conflict that would echo across light years. From the ashes of doubt, a new legend was born. Humanity was not just surviving, they were beginning to redefine the rules of the galaxy. The victory over the Vorkan scouts sent ripples across the galaxy. No empire could ignore humanity anymore. Intelligence reports arrived at alien capitals almost instantly. Humans were not only surviving, they were rewriting the rules of engagement. In the Galactic Assembly, the tension was palpable. Ambassadors whispered, sent secret messages and convened private councils. The humans, still modest in number, sat quietly, observing the reactions. Earth's representatives had no illusions. Some species wanted to learn from them, others wanted to destroy them before their influence grew. Ambassador HFY's 8 eyes burned with fury. They fight like devils. They think like predators. We cannot allow them to rise. Across the chamber, Ambassador Lethman of the Karath stroked his chitinous jaw. Perhaps they are more than we imagined. Perhaps they deserve a place at the table. But can we trust them? Helena Ross, seated at the human delegation's table, spoke softly, yet each word carried authority. Trust is earned, but fear is universal. The galaxy must adapt just as humanity has adapted. We are not invaders. We are participants. But we will defend ourselves. And we will win if pushed. The first formal political test came swiftly. Several contested star systems, rich in rare elements, were up for vote. The HFY and Vorkan blocks intended to seize control, excluding humans. Yet the humans' unique perspective allowed them to negotiate differently. Instead of threats or fleets, Helena Ross proposed something alien delegates had never considered: trade-based compromise. She introduced human engineers to help stabilize unstable stars and contested systems, offering technology that could save billions of lives. This is unprecedented, Lethman muttered, eyes narrowing. They give power yet expect nothing in return? Helena smiled. We ask only for recognition, for dialogue, and a chance to prove ourselves. The assembly was shocked. Humanity's approach combined diplomacy and strategy, not arrogance. Slowly, alliances shifted. Some smaller empires began to lean toward human proposals, impressed by their ingenuity and willingness to risk themselves for mutual benefit. Meanwhile, the galaxy's undercurrents moved faster than the human mind could initially comprehend. Spies infiltrated Earth's communications. Alien agents attempted sabotage. But humans adapted. Security AI, combined with unconventional human intuition, detected intrusions that other species considered impossible. On board the USS Resolute, Captain Arjun Patel convened his officers. They want to manipulate us. They want to test our limits. We'll show them we are unpredictable. Every move they expect, we counter in a way they never imagined. His first counter-strategy involved a daring feint. Humans announced the development of a massive fleet of orbital drones, an obvious bluff meant to draw enemy attention. While alien observers focused on the supposed threat, human engineers quietly prepared stealth frigates and advanced cloaking technologies for targeted strikes. The galaxy watched closely. When the first clash occurred, it seemed to validate human cunning. A group of rogue HFY ships attacked a disputed mining colony, assuming humans had no real defense. In response, human forces, smaller but precise, disabled key engines and command modules without firing a single shot directly. Ships drifted in space, paralyzed by system sabotage, leaving no casualties. Lethman's voice cracked over intercepted communications. They didn't destroy us, but they stopped us completely. Oh. No species fights like this. On Earth, civilian scientists celebrated quietly in labs. Each innovation, energy grids, propulsion tweaks, AI-assisted battle drones, added layers to humanity's reputation. People who once believed humans were fragile now realized they had evolved beyond mere physical capability. Adaptation, cunning, and creativity had become their true weapons. Yet humans were not infallible. The galaxy was testing them, and every victory drew more attention, more danger. In a secretive council, Admiral Ross, Patel, and the human ambassadors discussed the next steps. We've proven we can survive a fleet, Ross said. Now we must survive the politics. The empires we impress today may conspire against us tomorrow. We must think ahead, anticipate moves 10 steps in advance. Lieutenant Chin, studying star charts, pointed to a series of unstable wormholes connecting critical systems. We can control traffic through these channels. Position our fleet strategically, and we can protect our allies, or deny enemies critical supply lines. Ross nodded. Exactly. Humans were always underestimated because others assumed we followed the same logic as them. But we don't. We innovate. We improvise. That is our strength. And innovate they did. Using wormhole choke points, diplomatic maneuvers, and targeted strikes, humans reshaped the balance of power in contested systems. Empires that once dismissed Earth now sought treaties, knowledge, and alliances. But not everyone welcomed humanity's rise. In the shadows, Kael'Wythar coordinated with Vorkan warlords, plotting a coalition to crush the human anomaly before it could destabilize the galaxy entirely. As the humans celebrated their first political victories, Ross's voice cut through their relief. Enjoy today but never forget, every ally can become an enemy, every victory a prelude to conflict. The galaxy is watching and humanity must remain unpredictable. Always. The assembly adjourned, but the whispers followed the humans back to their quarters. Admiration, fear, envy, and suspicion. Humanity had survived its first test, navigated interstellar politics, and demonstrated a capacity for strategy that no alien species had predicted. From the shadows, Kael'Wythar muttered, "We have underestimated them. That mistake will cost us dearly." In the deep reaches of space, hidden fleets and secret weapons prepared for the next phase. Humanity was no longer a footnote in galactic history, they were becoming the spark that could ignite a new order among the stars. And as Earth's sun set on the planet below, humans looked to the stars not with fear, but with the determination to rise, adapt, and conquer, on their own terms. The galaxy's whispers became roars. Humans were no longer a curiosity, they were a threat, an enigma that no empire could ignore. The HFY Vorkan coalition had mobilized a strike fleet nearly 10 times the size of humanity's forces. Their goal: destroy Earth's defenses and prove once and for all that humans were overrated. In orbit above Mars, the human fleet bristled with activity. The flagship USS Dauntless hovered at the center, surrounded by frigates, corvettes, and stealth vessels. Each ship was a product of ingenuity and improvisation, smaller but smarter than their alien counterparts. Admiral Helena Ross stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the holographic battle map. "They've underestimated us for centuries. That won't save them now. Remember, the galaxy thinks they know us. We'll show them they don't." Lieutenant Chen's fingers danced over his console. "They're approaching in 3 vectors, blocking all exit points. Conventional wisdom says we're trapped, Admiral." Ross smiled. "Then it's time to redefine conventional wisdom." The first wave of THRYL cruisers entered Mars orbit. Their energy cannons fired, incinerating orbital debris and sending shockwaves across human defenses. But the humans had prepared. Stealth frigates, cloaked against detection, struck at the cruisers' power relays. Systems overloaded. Ships tumbled through space, their own weapons useless. "Status?" Ross demanded. "Half their lead ships disabled, Admiral," Chin reported. "They didn't expect this, they didn't even know it was possible." Meanwhile, the Vorkans unleashed their fleet from the asteroid belts beyond Jupiter. Massive warships, bristling with weapon arrays, advanced with terrifying precision. Humans responded not with brute force but with traps. Gravity wells pulled enemy ships off course, while electromagnetic pulses scrambled targeting systems. From the bridge of the Vorkan flagship, Lord Kael'Wythar hissed in fury. "Impossible. These humans are thinking. Every strategy we know they counter." "How?" "They improvise," Lethmin whispered from the Karath monitoring station. "They adapt in ways we cannot predict. This is not war as we understand it. It is something else." The battle escalated. Human pilots executed daring maneuvers, weaving through asteroid fields, using natural debris as cover, striking where alien commanders least expected. Small corvettes took out supply convoys, cutting off reinforcements. Every strike was precise, every countermove unexpected. Amidst the chaos, Admiral Ross coordinated a bold plan, a direct assault on the coalition's command hub. It was heavily shielded, deep in THRYL territory, yet humans had discovered a flaw in the energy shield matrix through intercepted communications and pattern analysis. "Chen," Ross said, pointing to a narrow corridor in the holographic map, "this is our window. It's risky, but it's our only chance to break their command structure. Prepare the stealth frigates. Engage on my mark." The frigates slipped into the corridor like shadows, avoiding detection. Outside, the battle raged with explosions and plasma trails painting the black void. Time seemed to stretch as humans infiltrated the enemy stronghold. Inside the THRYL command hub, alarms blared. "We are breached." Kael'Wythar screamed, his 8 eyes widening in disbelief. "Impossible. We fortified every access point." But humans had done the impossible. Explosives and precision EMPs disabled the shields, and one by one the alien warships lost cohesion. Without their command signals, formations collapsed, firepower became chaotic, and the coalition faltered. Back on the Dauntless, Ross watched the feed. They counted on fear. They counted on size. But humans are unpredictable. That is our strength. Prepare for Phase 2, negotiation. Yes, negotiation. Even in the midst of war, humans offered terms. A voice transmitted across the void, calm, unwavering. This battle does not need to end in annihilation. Withdraw or face continued losses. Humanity fights not for conquest but for survival. We can teach, collaborate, and thrive together. But we will not bow to intimidation. The galaxy paused. Never had an inferior fleet so boldly demanded terms from such powerful species. Kael'Wythar's rage met the cold logic in Ross's voice. For the first time he hesitated. Meanwhile, Karath diplomats intercepted and broadcast the message to their colonies. Humans were more than survivalists. They were strategic geniuses, combining combat, diplomacy, and psychological insight. Respect, fear, and curiosity began to mix in equal measure across the galaxy. The Vorkans and Tyrell reluctantly withdrew, nursing wounded fleets and bruised egos. Humanity had not only survived a numerically superior force, they had defeated it with brains, courage, and adaptability. On the Dauntless, the crew erupted in cautious celebration. Yet Ross remained vigilant. This is only the beginning. The galaxy is learning what humans are capable of. And some will not forgive us for it. Lieutenant Chin grinned, exhaustion on his face. They won't forget us, Admiral. Ever. Above Earth, the sun set, casting light across a world that had just proven itself capable of standing among the stars. Humanity had survived fire in the void, turning impossible odds into a victory that shook the galaxy to its core. And in the shadows, alien empires whispered new warnings. The humans were not just survivors. They were a force unlike any other, resilient, cunning, and utterly unstoppable when provoked. From the ashes of underestimation, a legend was growing. Humanity was no longer ranked last. They were becoming the spark that could ignite the entire galaxy. The victory over the Thryll Vorkan fleet became a turning point. Humanity had proven itself not just in battle, but as a strategic force capable of reshaping galactic dynamics. Yet with power came peril. Allies and enemies alike watched Earth closely, testing human resolve, probing for weaknesses and scheming in shadows. In the Galactic Assembly, whispers of the human anomaly spread like wildfire. Smaller empires, those long oppressed or overlooked by dominant species, looked to humanity for guidance. Some offered cooperation, eager to align with a species that had outsmarted the galaxy's oldest powers. Yet the largest powers remained suspicious. Ambassador Kael'Wythar, humiliated by previous defeats, had not forgotten. Humans are clever, he hissed to his council. But they are dangerous. They will learn, they will expand, and they will challenge the old order. We must strike before their influence spreads further. Meanwhile, Earth's leaders were not idle. Admiral Helena Ross and her council understood that true strength was more than military might. It was political acumen, alliances, and control of key systems. On board the USS Resolute, Captain Arjun Patel convened a council of scientists, diplomats, and commanders. We've proven our fleet can survive the impossible. Now we must secure the galaxy's confidence, or at least its compliance. Trade routes, energy hubs, and unclaimed systems are our leverage. But we must also anticipate betrayal. Our enemies are already moving. The first threat emerged unexpectedly. A sabotage attempt in Earth's orbital shipyards nearly destroyed several human frigates. Explosions ripped through the hangars, leaving smoke and fire drifting across the void. Scan for intruders. Ross barked over the comms. This is no accident. Someone wants us weakened before negotiations begin. Lieutenant Chin, hands flying across the control panels, reported, signals indicate multiple alien infiltrators. They used advanced cloaking tech, but their communications were intercepted. Thryll origin. Ross's eyes hardened. So Kael'Wythar strikes from the shadows. Prepare countermeasures. Deploy decoys, reinforce all sensitive zones. We will not be caught off guard again. While sabotage threatened Earth directly, political intrigue unfolded in the assembly. Karath diplomats, impressed by human strategy, proposed an interstellar alliance designed to counteract the Thryll Vorkan coalition. Humans now had a seat of influence far larger than their numbers would suggest. Ambassador Lethman approached Ross privately. Your species, you inspire hope in systems that have suffered under tyranny. But beware. Even allies can betray you. Power in the galaxy is a constant negotiation. Ross nodded. We know. But humans survive by adapting. We will turn every challenge into advantage. To solidify influence, humans launched a mission to stabilize disputed wormholes that connected vital trade systems. Alien engineers had deemed the task impossible. Gravity fluxes were chaotic and previous attempts had failed. Humans, however, applied unconventional thinking. Modular stabilization grids, adaptive AI algorithms, and real-time corrections. The result was astonishing. Trade flows normalized, disputes diminished, and humans gained a reputation as problem solvers rather than conquerors. Across countless systems, the message spread: humanity was a species capable of extraordinary feats, intelligent, adaptable, and unpredictable. Yet every victory had consequences. Kael-Wythar and his allies began planning an audacious strike. A coordinated attack across multiple systems, designed to cripple human influence in one swift blow. Intelligence reports, however, indicated gaps in the coalition's coordination. Humans, ever adaptive, prepared not just to defend, but to turn the enemy's arrogance against them. Admiral Ross convened the fleet in orbit of Titan. They think we'll fight conventionally, but we won't. We will divide their forces, force miscommunication, and strike where they are weakest. Their pride is their undoing. Humanity thrives where others fail to anticipate. Stealth drones, disguised as asteroids, infiltrated enemy staging zones. Human reconnaissance ships monitored signals, feeding patterns into predictive algorithms. Meanwhile, Earth's diplomats negotiated in parallel, securing neutrality from systems the coalition hoped to exploit. When the attack began, the galaxy held its breath. Alien fleets advanced, expecting easy victories. Instead, they encountered ghost fleets, invisible traps, and unexpected counterattacks. The THRYL and Vorkan fleets collided in confusion, their formations disrupted by human strategy. From the bridge of the Dauntless, Ross observed the chaos. They thought they could overwhelm us with numbers. They didn't consider that intelligence, coordination, and adaptability outweigh brute force. Humanity will not just survive, we will turn every attack into an opportunity. The aftermath was decisive. The coalition's planned strike failed spectacularly. Alien commanders struggled to maintain discipline as humans dismantled their strategy piece by piece. And across the galaxy, observers, neutral and allied, recognized the growing legend. Humans were not only survivors but apex strategists, capable of reshaping the balance of power with every decision. As Earth celebrated another triumph, Ross reminded her team of the stakes. The galaxy is watching. Every action, every victory invites envy, fear, and retaliation. But humans do not rely on size or tradition. We adapt, we innovate, and we endure. That is why we will thrive no matter the odds. High above Earth, the stars shone with cold clarity. Somewhere in the shadows, Kael-Wythar and his allies whispered warnings, plotting revenge. But humans had already learned the most important lesson of all. Survival in the galaxy was not given. It was seized with intelligence, courage, and cunning beyond measure. And so, as the galaxy teetered on the edge of war and diplomacy, humanity stood ready, not as underdogs, not as pawns, but as architects of a new order among the stars. The galaxy had learned one truth: humans were not to be underestimated. But recognition came with danger. The THRYL Vorkan coalition, humiliated and enraged, had regrouped. This time their plan was audacious. A coordinated attack across multiple systems, simultaneous sabotage of human infrastructure, and manipulation of allies to isolate Earth. In the command hub aboard the USS Dauntless, Admiral Helena Ross studied multiple battle maps. Lines and nodes blinked like a web of threats spanning light years. They want chaos, she said grimly. They want us stretched thin, vulnerable. But humans thrive under pressure. This is our moment. Lieutenant Chin pointed to one of the grids. 3 systems are under simultaneous attack. Sabotage on Mars, blockade near Jupiter, and a wormhole collapse near Alpha Centauri. They're trying to split us. Ross's eyes narrowed. Then we divide our attention without dividing our strength. Deploy the stealth frigates to the wormhole. Use orbital drones to stabilize the collapse near Alpha Centauri. I'll take Mars personally with the Dauntless and the Resolute. We will not fail. The first crisis erupted on Mars. Explosions tore through orbital shipyards, sending fragments of destroyed vessels into drifting chaos. Human engineers and AI quickly assessed the damage. Some sabotage appeared almost impossible to repair, yet humans improvised. Modular shields, repurposed drone cores and AI-directed repairs restored critical infrastructure in record time. Sir, Lieutenant Chin said, the sabotage pattern is intelligent, not random. Someone is anticipating our every move. Ross clenched her jaw. Then we must outthink them. Humans do not react blindly. We adapt faster than they calculate. Meanwhile, near Alpha Centauri, stealth frigates navigated the unstable wormhole, dodging energy surges and gravitational turbulence. Human engineers remotely manipulated the wormhole's energy flow, stabilizing it long enough to allow vital supply convoys to pass. Alien fleets attempting to exploit the wormhole's instability found themselves trapped in precise energy nets, immobilized and powerless. The Coalition's warships advanced near Jupiter, confident in numerical superiority. But humans had set a trap. Hidden drones and decoy formations lured enemy ships into the gravity wells of massive gas giants. Ships tumbled, colliding with debris, caught in the immense pull, while smaller human vessels struck weak points in the enemy fleet. From his flagship, Kael'Wythar growled in frustration. These humans, they are everywhere at once. How can one species fight on multiple fronts with such precision? They adapt, whispered Lethmin, watching from Karath space. They improvise. They turn our strengths into weaknesses. It is terrifying. Back on the Dauntless, Ross received a transmission from a human spy embedded in Vorkan space. Admiral, the voice said, tension clear, they're planning an ambush near the Helios cluster. Full fleet, maximum firepower. They intend to cut off our reinforcements. Ross's lips tightened. Then we do the unexpected. Split our forces deliberately, appear weaker than we are. Draw them into a corridor where we control every variable. Human cunning is our weapon. Let them overreach. The ambush unfolded exactly as planned. The Vorkan fleet, confident in its numerical advantage, pursued human vessels into the corridor. Gravity wells, energy nets, and stealth attacks dismantled their formations. Alien commanders watched helplessly as their forces were systematically neutralized. Amid the chaos, Ross addressed her crew. Every setback is an opportunity. Every attack we survive teaches us. Humans do not fear impossibility, we use it. That is why we win. At the same time, humans discovered a betrayal among allied systems. Some smaller species, pressured by fear and promises from the Coalition, attempted to sabotage supply lines. But human intelligence networks detected the subterfuge before it caused critical damage. Rapid diplomacy, combined with precise countermeasures, turned potential disasters into demonstrations of human decisiveness. By the time the battle ended, the Coalition had suffered devastating losses. Entire fleets were immobilized, supply lines disrupted, and command structures in chaos. Humanity had faced multiple crises simultaneously, war, sabotage, and betrayal, and emerged not just intact but dominant. The galaxy was stunned. Reports flooded in from countless systems. Humans were unpredictable, adaptive, and capable of extraordinary feats. Even Kael'Wythar admitted privately to his council, they are not just strong. They are beyond our understanding. We misjudged them. Ross, standing on the bridge as the last enemy ships retreated, allowed herself a rare moment of satisfaction. Today we proved something vital, she said quietly. The galaxy can test humans, challenge humans, even try to break us. But we endure, we innovate, and we dominate in ways no one expects. Lieutenant Chin smiled, exhaustion and pride mixing on his face. Sir, we've survived the impossible. Again. Ross gazed out at the stars. This is only the beginning. Every victory draws new challenges. But humans do not yield. We do not falter. We rise. And one day the galaxy will realize, underestimating humanity is the gravest mistake any species can make. As Earth's sun rose over the horizon, casting light across a world that had survived its gauntlet of fire, the humans stood ready. Against sabotage, ambushes, and overwhelming odds, they had adapted, survived, and asserted their supremacy. The galaxy had been warned, humanity was no longer to be ranked last. And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, hidden commanders whispered fearful words. The humans, they are unstoppable. The galaxy had changed. Systems once indifferent now sought alliance with humanity. Traders, diplomats, and minor fleets rallied to Earth's banner, inspired by the human victories and ingenuity. Yet with every gain came a shadow of danger. The THRWL Vorkan coalition, humiliated and desperate, had forged an unprecedented alliance with several powerful species, creating a force the galaxy whispered about as the Shadow Armada. Admiral Helena Ross studied the holographic map aboard the USS Dauntless, the lights of thousands of ships flickering in projected starlight. They've gathered fleets no one has ever seen combined, she said, voice tight. Every strategy they've attempted before, they will now execute together. This is the greatest threat humanity has ever faced. Lieutenant Chin tapped the display, showing a cascade of enemy movements. They're converging on the Sol system from 3 separate vectors. If they synchronize correctly, Earth itself will be isolated. Our allies won't hold, they'll collapse under pressure. Ross's gaze hardened. Then we must force them to lose coordination. Human advantage lies not in raw numbers but in adaptability. We will turn their planning into confusion. Human engineers and scientists worked tirelessly. Entire fleets were retrofitted with adaptive shields, modular weapon arrays and stealth fields. AI networks, combined with human intuition, predicted enemy maneuvers and countered them before they were executed. Prepare the decoys, Ross ordered. We will bait their vanguard into Helios Passage. Once they enter, we control every vector. The first contact was brutal. Shadow Armada ships entered the Helios Passage, confident in victory. Energy cannons fired, tearing through decoy vessels designed to look like high-value targets. But humans had calculated every trajectory. Gravity wells, cloaked frigates, and microdrones disrupted enemy formations. Ships collided in controlled chaos. Entire wings were paralyzed before they could realize what had happened. From the flagship of the Shadow Armada, Kael'Wythar hissed in disbelief. They anticipate every move. Every trap we set, countered. Lethman's voice trembled. It is beyond logic. Humans, they think differently than we do. They anticipate unpredictability itself. Meanwhile, stealth human frigates infiltrated the coalition's rear lines, disabling energy relays, communication hubs, and supply convoys. Each strike was surgical, leaving enemy fleets scrambling in confusion. Battleships bristling with superior firepower were rendered immobile, their crews demoralized by an enemy who could strike anywhere at any time. In orbit above Earth, the Dauntless maneuvered as though dancing through a minefield. Ross's voice rang across the fleet. Humanity survives not by strength alone, but by thinking faster, acting smarter, and adapting relentlessly. Do not falter. Outthink them. Outlast them. Show them why they underestimated us. Even the galaxy's neutral observers could not comprehend the scale. Entire fleets had been neutralized without a single direct engagement in some sectors. Tactics, timing, and ingenuity proved more deadly than raw firepower. Humanity had become a storm no one could predict. But the battle had a twist no one expected. From the depths of a hidden wormhole, a massive alien ship, older than the Tyrell or Vorkan empires, cloaked in technology thought lost to time, emerged. Its energy signature dwarfed anything humanity had encountered. Ross's jaw tightened. They've saved their trump card for last. This is no ordinary engagement. This is survival at the apex. The alien flagship unleashed a wave of energy so intense it destabilized space around it. Human fleets braced as shockwaves tore through the passage. Yet humans did what they did best: adapt. Stealth frigates redirected the shock, drones formed energy buffers, and the Dauntless fired predictive pulse cannons, striking weak points in the ancient vessel. The galaxy held its breath. 4 hours, battle raged in impossible coordination. Then, using a combination of intelligence, human intuition, and improvisation, the flagship's core was destabilized. With a brilliant flash of controlled detonation, the ancient vessel collapsed in on itself, sending a ripple through the Shadow Armada's coordination. From the flagship bridge, Ross watched the enemy fleets falter. "This is the moment," she said. "Every empire that underestimated us will now witness humanity's apex. We do not conquer recklessly. We survive. We endure. And we reshape the galaxy." Kael'Wythar's voice, furious and broken, echoed across intercepted communications. "Impossible. Humans, they cannot be." Even as the Shadow Armada retreated in disarray, Ross knew victory was not absolute. "The galaxy will always challenge us," she said quietly. "But every test proves the same truth. Humans adapt, humans endure, humans prevail." Across countless systems, news of the battle spread. Minor species pledged loyalty to Earth. Major powers reconsidered diplomacy, treaties, and war plans. Humanity was no longer underestimated, ignored, or ranked last. They were recognized as a force capable of rewriting the rules of interstellar power. Above Earth, Ross looked at the stars, the remnants of battle glowing in the void. "We have survived the edge of oblivion today. Tomorrow the galaxy will face us again, But humanity will always rise, smarter, stronger, and unpredictable. That is our gift, and our weapon. And somewhere, in the shadow of defeated fleets and alien empires, a warning spread: humanity is not just surviving, they are becoming the apex of the galaxy. The galaxy had changed forever. Across countless systems, the story of humans, once dismissed, ranked last, underestimated, was now legend. Entire empires had learned that humanity could survive impossible odds, outthink ancient fleets, and innovate in ways that defied prediction. Yet one final test remained: a coordinated strike by the remnants of the Shadow Armada, joined with rogue empires seeking revenge and reclaiming lost honor. Admiral Helena Ross stood on the bridge of the USS Dauntless, flanked by her commanders and diplomats. This is the culmination of everything we've done. Every victory, every strategy, every adaptation has led to this moment. The galaxy believes we can be stopped. They are wrong. Lieutenant Chen's hands hovered over the controls. Multiple enemy fleets are converging near Sol's outer rim. They've combined firepower no one thought possible. We fail. Earth itself could be in jeopardy. Ross's voice was steady, resolute. We will not fail. Humanity has faced the impossible before. This is not just defense, it's a declaration. We will show the galaxy who we are once and for all. The battle erupted like a storm. Fleets of alien ships, bristling with energy weapons and advanced shields, surged through the void, aiming for Earth and the human fleet. But humans were prepared, not with numbers, but with intelligence and unpredictability. Orbital drones deployed like swarms of fireflies, intercepting missiles, disabling engines, and creating illusions of fleet movements. Cloaked frigates struck at command ships, severing coordination. Gravity wells, improvised energy traps, and predictive AI attacks tore apart enemy formations before they could organize. Kelwithar, commanding the remnants of the Tijerwello fleet, hissed in disbelief. How can they anticipate every maneuver? Every strike, perfectly timed. They improvise, muttered Lethman, the Karath observer. They adapt faster than any system can calculate. Humans, they are beyond logic. But the final challenge revealed itself. From beyond the edge of the Sol system, a colossal alien dreadnought emerged. Its technology was unlike anything seen, a fusion of Tijerwello, Vorkan, and ancient species artifacts. It dwarfed the human fleet and radiated destructive energy capable of annihilating planets. Ross's eyes narrowed. They've saved their ultimate weapon for last. Humanity does not retreat. We adapt. We will survive. The humans launched an audacious counteroffensive. Stealth frigates infiltrated the dreadnought's perimeter, planting quantum disruption devices that destabilized its energy core. Orbital drones created a precise lattice around the ship, forcing it to maneuver into positions dictated by the humans. Every move was calculated not with brute force, but with anticipation, foresight, and cunning. Captain Patel coordinated a simultaneous strike. Human pulse cannons targeted the dreadnought's propulsion nodes, while adaptive AI hacked its targeting systems. The alien ship fired blindly, destroying parts of its own fleet as humans anticipated each reaction. Ross transmitted a final message across enemy communications. Your fleets underestimate humanity, your tactics assume conformity, and your power assumes fear. You are mistaken. Humans are adaptive, relentless, and unmatched. Surrender now or face annihilation at the hands of a species you refuse to respect. The dreadnought faltered. Its energy core, destabilized by humans' combined tactics, erupted in a controlled implosion. Shockwaves disabled nearby enemy vessels. Fleet by fleet, the Shadow Armada crumbled under precise, coordinated, and unorthodox attacks. In the aftermath, the galaxy watched in awe. Humanity had not only survived the ultimate combined assault, but had shattered the coalition without losing a single inhabited planet. Earth's fleet remained intact, its allies intact, its enemies humbled. Across the Galactic Assembly, ambassadors whispered in disbelief. Carther's voice, strained and trembling, echoed privately to his council. We misjudged them. Humanity, they are the apex. They are unstoppable. Even allies recognized the unprecedented achievement. Lethman approached Ross, 6 arms gesturing in astonishment. Your species has redefined what is possible. You do not merely survive. You dominate not through sheer might but through intellect, adaptability, and courage. The galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. Ross looked at her fleet, the stars beyond, and the horizon of Earth visible through the bridge's viewport. We have proven what humanity can do. Not by seeking war but by defending our home, by outthinking the impossible, and by never surrendering. The galaxy has learned its lesson. Humanity is not last. Humanity is the standard. In the days that followed, treaties were rewritten, alliances reformed, and humanity gained unprecedented recognition. Systems that once ignored Earth now sought partnership. Military advisors from distant empires studied human tactics. Diplomats learned from human negotiation and improvisation. The legend of the human anomaly became a reality. On Earth, children looked up at the stars with pride. Soldiers, engineers, and diplomats returned victorious. Humanity had faced impossible odds, outwitted ancient powers, and proven that adaptability, ingenuity, and resilience were more powerful than sheer size or ancient technology. Ross, standing on the observation deck of the Dauntless, watched the galaxy's lights flicker across the void. We began ranked last, underestimated, dismissed. But humanity is now a force the galaxy cannot ignore. We are cunning, we endure, and we prevail. And as long as we remain true to our ingenuity and courage, no empire, no coalition, can ever place us last again. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of humanity. Once the weakest, the last, the ignored, they had become the apex. A species of resilience, intelligence, and supreme adaptability. The stars themselves seemed to recognize it, as if the void of space bowed to the ingenuity of humans. And in the silence beyond Earth, the message echoed through the cosmos. Humanity was not merely surviving among the stars, they were ascending, unmatched and unstoppable.